Welcome to another weekly wrap-up to give you an idea what I've been working on in Washington this week. First, I want to mention that we had the first tax hearing in the Ways and Means Committee, of which I'm a member. The first hearing in regard to tax reform, and this has been the big issue, a big issue with the majority party, and it's sad that we've waited this long before we had a hearing, but I'm glad we finally did. We heard some real good ideas about improving opportunities for folks to save money while employed, to have a more secure life in retirement. We also heard some concerns. Some of the concerns I have about tax reform is to, number one, make sure it's truly reform and it's not just a big gigantic tax cut, one that probably helps multimillionaires more than working men and women in the country, and that it's paid for. I think it's very, very important that anytime we cut taxes, we make sure it's paid for. We don't want to pass that debt on to future generations. So I'm going to be pushing hard for those two things. And I also think it's a great opportunity to be able to focus in on working class people to make sure that the tax code responds to them. Working class and middle class people need to be able to make more money, keep more money, and have better jobs. So anything we can do along those lines is important. And I think one of the best areas to focus on is using the tax code to promote educational opportunities. We all know, and we've heard for years now, how expensive it is to seek a higher education, but also career training, low-tech education, anything that working people do to improve their lot in life, we ought to try and figure out how to make it easier. We also had votes on a couple of environmental bills this week on the floor. One that I voted against would have released more ozone into our atmosphere, and that's not healthy for anyone. And the other one was a pipe bill that would make it more difficult to protect our environment when you're laying massive pipe for gas and oil operators. We need gas, we need oil, but we need to make sure that our environment is protected. Over in the Senate, as you probably know, their effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act failed again. We know that the Congressional Budget Office has indicated that their last effort would have knocked 32 million people off of health care. The one before that was 22 million people. And we need to be working together to fix what's wrong with the Affordable Care Act and make it easier for people to get health care, not kicking 22 or 32 million people off. And then lastly, I think that all of us share great concern and are saddened by the news that Senator John McCain was diagnosed with brain cancer. John McCain is a great American. He served our country both in uniform and as an elected official, and he's been a strong voice for the things that he believes in. He's a fine American, and please join me in wishing him the best way forward. I hope he recovers quickly and is back to work. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next Friday.